teams are going to move on and qualify for the knockout stage in advance, while the other will have to play another best of 3.
So it's going to be Yves and Loyi banned. We kind of go back to basics a little bit, right? Twisted Minds wants to have RRQ play in a vacuum, and I also respect the fact that RRQ banned out the Bruno. Jusin is open, but there have been ways to deal with her. Bruno being one of it, that has been taken out. We've seen dive comp like Moskov, Ling Angela, those are decent as well, as long as the Jusin cannot just kind of statically put the lantern on you. See if Twisted Mind decides to go for that, or alternatively, they could start looking at the more flexible picks.
I mean, if we're talking about flexible picks, I mean the Zushin, right? The Zushin makes every composition feel really, really nice, especially when you need to fall back onto an anchor that doesn't die very often. Zushin comes to mind straight away. No surprises here. They're going to be locking it in. Now, what is RRQ's response?
Okay, with the Jushin over there, honestly, I think they'd want to go for the Cho and the Suyo.
Cho Valentina doesn't look too bad as well. We did see Valentina take the Crimson Beacon, and you don't need to spend time just holding out your lantern, right? You are consistently doing damage. You are technically a lot more mobile than Jushin with the Crimson Beacon, so you can make use of it. They've been playing Gatot Kacha 2 games in a row as well for Dyron, but in this case, you'd probably just go for your mid lane.
They might actually just chase damage and get the Harrow.
Vanquish the
Or the Suyo?
Okay, so it was the Cho Suyo that I mentioned earlier. So
You called it. But here's the concerning part. I feel like at this point, if they're going to devolve back into a regular RRQ style of play, I think they're going to hold their gold laner all the way to the very end here. I feel like if they show the potential answers to the Zushin, like 1-1 like we saw the last time, it's going to get hard countered by the Irithyll. So there's got to be a give and take.
Under the condition that Twisted Minds doesn't get the read and ban the 1-1, right?
Exactly, yes.
I think if you're Twisted Minds, you might be looking at your gold laner now. So you can start shutting down what Skylar has for options. So they take the Gatot away first, and the Hylo, so very honest.
okay,
So they're both now fighting for that gold laner.
they just went ahead for the tanky boys. I mean, I'm not gonna knock it, but at this point, I think you want to consider either the Aurora or the.
Yeah, I think you pick 1-1.
Oh wow, they just won one right away.
Yeah,
because you saw Hylos and Gatot, right? You saw Hylos, Gatot, and Justin. If you don't take 1-1, she's gonna get banned out.
Exactly.
This guy is gonna start scratching his head like, what am I gonna play?
Now you just need to get rid of the bad 1-1 matchups, and then you're kind of set for the rest of the matchups. Unless it kind of depends where Twisted Minds wants to go, right? Because at this point, if we're thinking about bad matchups from the gold lane, all right, that's not what Twisted Minds is concerned about. They're more concerned about, hey, we've already shown our flex pick at this point. There's got to be a jungle pick that needs to open up and find these opportunities, and it may not necessarily be an assassin. I'm hoping that Alpha might be taken into consideration here. That might be something that RRQ might bans out. No, if they're going for Nolan, I'm expecting the Alpha to follow suit, right?
I really appreciate this Nolan ban here by RRQ, because when you mentioned the Alpha, I agree with you, but then I realized, there's still a 1-1 on the other side. That's a little bit happier for the 1-1 now, because you have the Alpha, the Gatot, and the Hylos now to potentially mark down and hit with the crossbow of Tang. So they took away what they needed, which was the best burst physical marksman that's assassin that's hard to catch by taking out the Nolan.
Yeah, it also eliminates the potential of something like a Fredrin, right? If Twisted Minds ever considers that, because you don't want another beach, you don't want another like crossbow Tang setup for the 1-1.
It's a free setup, but at the same time, this composition may be thick, but it needs something that scales, right? That's where where all of our heads are at currently.
Yeah, so Granger is also one because it outranges 1-1.
Oh, that's a good point.
And again, right, you not only eliminate him from the gold lane, but also the jungle, unless we see something like I feel like we probably just devolve back to Hayabusa, or if we go down even further, maybe the Julian for Twisted Minds, but I've not seen Hoda play that. The Joy, maybe?
It's a little tough, right?
Yeah,
because Alpha and Julian are both in that same boat where it's like, it's kind of hard to get in range of 1-1 anyways. So that means you're probably going to have to look for other ways on the map to actually punish our opponents, take away that front line maybe. That's why I'm leaning a little bit more into the Alpha, but I think that RRQ, now that they banned out the Granger on top of everything else, it's, I mean, where are we going to go with this?
Twisted Minds might consider wanting to ban the Phobius here.
If there's any day for Phobius ban. So they banned the Valentina.
Oh, wow.
I can respect that, right? Like you have good ultimates for Valentina to steal. Like Glorious Pathway, AOG, Crimson Beacon.
Yeah, that's true. At the same time, some Valentinas are afraid to duel up against and get close to a Juice in the laning phase, and those Valentinas often win.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have the Vexana available for him, and I mean, one of the classic answers to the high loss and the Gacha.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
So it's a glue. Yeah.
All right.
Solves kills two birds with one stone. High loss Gato does not matter.
Yeah.
And who is gonna kill the glue?
It might not really not have enough damage, because even if you draft something like a Harith here, then the presence of the glue is difficult.
So it's a Moskov Joy again.
Oh,
Though this time they do have tools that enables the Joy a lot more, right? It's not like the previous game where you're getting stopped by a Ruby. There's no room for a Ruby right now for RRQ. That mid lane though, the Vex now feels better.
Yeah.
Vex is great now.
I think you kind of don't have a choice at this point, right?
Yeah.
Your Aurora was probably going to be like the best way to handle it. Even the Valentinas, they all deal with these, melee heroes very, very well at mid range. Now it's going to be like high execution. If you miss your fear, you're basically as good as dead.
Yeah.
I wonder if Twisted Minds also picked up the Joy, thinking that maybe RRQ are thinking of just picking something weird like a Faramis because of the aggressive team fight that you could chase after that. So,
that's one way to deal with it. That's one person that the Joy does not want to get on top of.
What is more Indonesian than a Kadita pick in mid?
Yeah.
Interesting. This is going to be an interesting matchup here. Some decent bursts, and also, I mean, we might see Cadito go up and win rate this time around. We're going to throw it over to our casters to handle this very final game.
It's all coming down to just this one game for either of these teams, Twisted Minds or RRQ Hoshi, to make it to the next stage of the M6 Championship here. It's the knockout stage, that top 8 spot that they're looking for, and really it's in either team's grasp at this point, based on everything we've seen up to this point in the series alone in this best of 3. Either team can grab this, but Twisted Minds, they have to make a big adjustment from that very quick game victory from RRQ Hoshi in the last one. Can they replicate what they did in game 1 with this lineup? We'll find out, because it's about to happen.
On one side, a kingdom representing the pride of a nation, and on the other, a squad representing the hopes of a region one step away from reaching top 8 for the first time. Only one may remain undefeated into the M6 knockouts. Will it be Twisted Minds or RRQ Hoshi?
Right now, Rin's taking some damage, but he's going to be fine. Also, the Kadita, the fact that this comes out at this point in the tournament is great. You know, we've seen previews of this before, but what a fitting way to go ahead and grab a victory if it is RRQ Hoshi. And now Twisted Minds, on the other hand, like what they mentioned, you know, with this, whoa, actually already very aggressive from Rin's. Troll goes in with the Unbreakable.
A good knock-up, 3-man Jeet Kune Do. Sutsujin not able to follow up though, and now Mike-sama even coming to join the party.
Wow.
But no casualties so far.
No casualties, 2 flickers used though from RRQ Hoshi. Cuffin will take some damage here. He's going to be fine as the mid lane still fighting for control.
Yep, Cho gonna get pulled back, taunted as well by Troll. Concussive Blast doing a lot of damage. Cuffin pulling Edok back one more time, but not quite enough damage to finish him off.
Threading the needle there, Edok. The fact too that, again, he didn't have the flicker. Surprised he was able to go ahead and withstand that. So still, neither team getting the first blood. Still trying to set the pace, and I think that's the thing too, you know, this Moskov Joy pick this time around might work better for Twisted Minds than in the previous one, just because of the fact that they have, you know, their bases covered when it comes to the initiation, when it comes to the front line. They're running a double Revitalize composition too, so they're really trying to extend some of those fights and withstand a lot of that damage that will be kind of bursty early on from RRQ Hoshi, especially with the Kadita. And then you have the 2 Purifies, so they have a lot of sustainability and utility that they can work with this time for game number 3 on RRQ Hoshi. Playing into it, Skylar and, wow, Sano going 1v1.
Yeah, Purify used by Sano, but Skylar showing superior skill. First blood claimed on the Moskov. And now on the Turtle Pit, Sutsujin on top. We're gonna see the blue jump in with the split set up for the rough wave. Troll surviving all of it with the Revitalize and still going in with the passive, still surviving. Sutsujin gets the turtle, Rin's gonna be traded away. Troll still alive after everything, and Direct gonna get pulled back by the Zeus comes in one more time. That's gonna be 2 kills for Twisted Minds in the turtle pit. Edok jumps in, gets the knockup. Such a Jin lands on Troll as well. Finally picking up the kill his teammates could not get.
They weren't going to let Twisted Minds get all that and then, of course, not get a kill on top of the turtle that RRQ Hoshi gets. But yeah, you saw it, you know, how surprising it is when you have 2 revitalizers to be able to go ahead and withstand a lot of that damage and extend those fights. But also in the gold lane, the fact that Skylar gets that 1v1, gets an item a little bit of ahead here, picking up that Corrosive Scythe already, so still also a level ahead against Sano. He's going to have to rely. Sano needs the help of the team to allow himself to get back into this, at least the matchup for a little bit, because right now with Skylar having this advantage against the Moskov and having the notion of, okay, I have momentum in my favor, it's going to be really difficult for Sano to try to go ahead and go face-to-face against a Wanwan. And that's not even considering the fact that later on, you know, Skylar, we've seen this earlier in the tournament when he loves to pick this Wanwan and gets the airtime he needs, has items, and just turns fights around. And I guess that's, again, why you have this double revitalized composition. You want to be able to withstand it. And then the Winter Crowns will come into play later. But still, as Twisted Minds tries to keep things from, you know, getting too out of control, they're working against just a 1,000 gold deficit at this point.
Yeah, I think what RRQ Hoshi is going to be identifying right now is that Skylar has already gotten a much bigger lead in the gold lane than you would have previously expected. They're going to try and extend that pressure over the rest of the map as well. This is already a composition that's very well designed for the one.
Skylar.
Oh, hold on, Sano being focused again. Skylar actually able to get the crossbow tank, but not quite enough as the AOG comes in. Taunt on Skylar. He cannot connect the crossbow tank. Sano keeping his distance. The rest of RRQ too late to save their gold laner. They'll transition over to the turtle pit instead, but Twisted Minds already in control of it. And they should be able to zone them out and take it.
See what happens. Susujin's just around the corner. They're going to fight for it, though. Split already used. Turtle for the taking.
Susujin jumps in, steals it away from Twisted Minds as Toda is kicked away by Edok. Now the split jumps onto Mike Sama. Will they be able to get the pull in? Blade Surge from Susujin lands. Troll and Mike Sama, though, so
they're going.
tricky. Edok with the final knockup, and that's going to set up for an evil quelling as Skylar also picks off Coffin in the mid lane.
Man, earlier on, I was going to say, you know, it was unfortunate Skylar couldn't get the crossbow of Tang off that he was looking for. Very aggressive on it, gets punished, but then later on, after all that fight breaks out for the turtle, he comes in, gets a kill this time, so he's back on track. And Twisted Minds, when they go into these fights around the objectives, you know, it looks like it should be in their favor. They have the proper tools to make it work. But RRQ Hoshi has been pretty good at getting those battle spells out if they need to get the Revitalizers or the Glorious Pathway for one, and even the AOG earlier on because of that gold lane initiation. So that tier 1 turret's going to go down, but top side, Rinse.
Going to get caught out with a taunt. Rough Waves used defensively just to escape from Twisted Minds. But Electrifying Beats was also committed by Hoda. Now we can see Dyren going to get pulled back, but I don't think either team is looking for a fight right now.
This is what RRQ Hoshi and teams like them love to do here, Safa. You know, little by little, they'll go ahead and focus down the objectives, whether that's the turtles, whether that's those early turrets down, and even the way they manage the farm, you know, in the jungle and then in the lane. They start to build up on these leads, but before you know it, it's out of control. And with this point, you're at 3K ahead against Twisted Minds, who has a lineup that obviously needs a little bit more time to build up here. It kind of gets difficult in the situation where Twisted Minds has to be able to go and maybe be a little more reactive to what RRQ Hoshi does, because most of the time it's either going to be Edok that starts those fights or starts those skirmishes up. And with this, the last turtle of the game is going to come up. Troll picks up that Radiant Armor. He's going to need it for the amount of magic damage thrown at him. Mid lane, though, Coffin also being checked here, and this RRQ Hoshi, they'll get in position. I'm not sure if there's much of a contest here from Twisted Minds, but they might still try, and as Hoda makes his way, but he might be too late.
Rin's gonna get pulled back, but here comes the stun from Dyren. They're gonna be able to get the way of the Dragon on Troll as well, and crossbow tank's already set up. Rough Waves also committed as Skylar takes to the skies and starts doing some damage, but the AOG gonna cancel a lot of it out. Troll's still gonna be taken out though, and Dyren pulling Mike Sama back in. Here comes the Spear of Destruction, but I don't think he wants to commit to it, even though Edok is low. That is a double kill as RRQ Hoshi take 2 and the turtle.
I think they're going to take more as this tier 1 finally the mid lane goes down, and great usage of this glue pick. You know, Dyren able to go with the split and drag people back right into the fight, right on the mark. exactly what they needed with the lineup that they have. Twisted Minds really struggling still in the team fight. I mean, looking at the items too, they don't really have that much firepower. You know, you got a Genius Wand here for Hoda, and you're hoping to help, you know, make it work with Cuffin on this Jushin pick. But even so, Sano, 2 items locked in. You see the gold difference between the gold laners. You know, 1,500 up for Skylar right now. He hurts. You know, he's got the Trinity, he's got the Crossbow Sight, DHS, and Malefic Roar. That's enough to go ahead and do damage to even the front line and the sustainability that Twisted Minds brought to this game. And so they need a lot more time to be able to go and actually fight. And that's why Skylar, as aggressive as he's been since the beginning of the game, even when he got punished early on, he's still going to do that. Oh, Spirit Destruction.
Connects on Skylar, but he has Purify, and now you see the Purify from Sano as well, but you cannot Purify. Death, Rough Fire finds him. Crossbow Tang already prepared. Electrifying Beast doing a lot of damage from Hoda on the sideline, but Susujin still on top of him. They've lost Rins, but they traded for Hoda. Wow. After killing spree. Double kill for Susujin. Triple kill as 4 members of Twisted Minds are
There's another.
They're looking for one more. Split the land. Maniac for Susujin as RRQ Hoshi run over their opponents.
Yeah, that's not what you want to happen if you're Twisted Minds. A Maniac for Sutsujin and Skylar as well. And I'm going to commend again Dyron, able to just go and pop off on this glue, even under the turret, drag people back for those secured kills for the team. Just perfect synergy from RRQ Hoshi right now in this game number 3. That'll all get them this Lord as well. First one of the game. Twisted Minds in a position where, you know, they don't even really want to go and fight right now, because even if they do, even if, let's say, they get the perfect setup with an Avatar of the Guardian or, you know, just cutting off the Glorious Pathway, they're outgunned and outfarmed right now. This is going to be very difficult to even defend the base turrets on this first Lord push, as they do try to hold on to this tier 2. Well, Susujin early on. Hold on, pressure already put.
Yep, Dyron trying to jump in, gets CC'd by Coffin, but the Glorious Pathway utilized defensively already as the bottom tier 2 is just gone like that. Skylar picks up the crossbow of Tang, gonna commit to it. Revitalize, not gonna keep Mike Sama alive. Mega kill for Skylar as RQ sets up for the continued Lord push.
RRQ Hoshi wants to do what they did in game 2. They're on track to do it, as all these shields are going to be popped, and now the top turret goes down even before the Lord makes it. A 10,500 gold lead at this point, 10.5 minutes in. They might look to close it out already. Twisted Minds has to come up with a defense of a lifetime to stay in it and to turn things out. They'll clear out the Lord, but the bottom turret's going to be worked on. And finally, they do clear out the Lord, but base turrets will all be down and exposed, and Mike Samad jumps on in, trying to cut them off.
Comes out, electrifying beats on top of Dyron, but he's surviving all of it, even flickers out, it's a split, the glue, everything, and now RQ, it's go time, godlike streak for Susujin. Troll is gone. Twisted Minds with the 4v5 defense, they're trying to hold off the minion waves, able to do a good job clearing them out the flicker. Jikundo waves the dragon into the unstoppable streak, legendary for Susujin. Skylar picking up one of his own, only 1 minion left. Twisted Minds will finally take it out. Sano taking the Spear of Destruction, but not enough damage yet to punish RQ. They are still 5-man strong. Dyron jumps in, Edok jumps in, Sano trying his best, but he cannot stop them. They have attended every M-Series playoff to date, and they will continue doing so as RRQ Hoshi make it to the next stage.
What a performance coming out here, RRQ Hoshi. Game 2 and Game 3. Game 3 even faster than Game 2 at 11 and 08. Feeling really good about locking that in. And again, for Twisted Minds,